Welcome. I'm Dennis from Wealthy Wally, and we're going to talk about stock charts. What is a stock chart? How can you find a stock chart? And what valuable information can a stock chart provide you about a company? So step one, I'm going to get you to get onto your computer, go on Google, and type in Google Finance. Once you get there, you should see what you see on my screen here. So I'll get you to type in General Motors, and you'll notice as I type these words in that a drop-down list is going to pop up. General Motors appears first here with a stock symbol of GM. We're going to select that. And basically it's going to populate information with regards to General Motors and also provide us with a stock chart. If you go below the chart, you're going to see three tabs: Settings, Technicals, and Link to this view. We're only going to talk about settings today, which relate to the layout or the view of what the chart shows us. So if you click Settings, you leave this at Linear, and you select OHLC and Weekly, you should see the same chart as I see here, which are red and green candlestick patterns. So if you go to the top here and you select Daily, this now means that each line or candlestick represents the price movement of the stock for a given day. So if we look here in April, and I move my cursor there, on April 21st, we see a lot of information. We see that the stock has opened at 33.18. It reached a high of 33.41. At one time throughout the day, it dropped to 32.47. And the price actually closed at 32.66. The words VOL mean volume, and that's how many shares were exchanged on that one day. So just by looking at the chart here, we can see a lot of things. We can see that the price over the entire year, so basically from April 2016 to September 2016, has varied basically from above $33 all the way down below $28. So that's what we call the volatility of the stock. So that's the range that the stock has traded throughout the year. If you change the chart here to weekly, each candlestick will now represent the duration of 1 week, no longer 1 day. So that shows you here a different type of pattern. At the bottom of the stock price chart, you're going to see some blue lines here, and that's the volume. So since we're selecting a weekly chart, the bottom blue line indicates how many shares were traded for a given week. So we can see here that on a heavy trading week, like this one where we have the red candlestick dipping way below $25, we can see that the volume had an acceleration. So the volume was very strong. Okay, so that's what the volume chart or bar chart shows you. It can quickly tell you some clues as to the sentiment of the trading around the stock at that given moment in time. So if the volume is very low, it basically tells us that not a lot of people are trading the stock at that time. If the volume is very high, it could be that there was an event surrounding that volatility in the price. And that could be this company that had released earnings. There could have been a sudden drop in the price due to some bad news, or maybe there was a spike in the price because of some good news. So it's always important to look at the price variance in relation to the volume. For example, if there's not a lot of volume and there's wild swings in prices, it could mean that you're dealing with a company that is very volatile and that there are not many shares outstanding, which could cause the price to move significantly in either direction with a very little volume. As a company like GM, there are 1.5 billion shares outstanding. So on a typical day, there could be over 10 million shares trading. So the stock price is not going to be as volatile. For example, you shouldn't see the GM price go from $32 down to $15 and back up to $25 within the same day. That would be a very rare event and highly unlikely. However, if the shares outstanding of a company were only a few million, and the owners of the company own, let's say, half of the float or half of the shares outstanding, that would mean that there will only be maybe 1 million shares out available to the general public. And if the stock price is low in a few dollars, let's say $1 or $2 a share, the stock price could definitely move between $1 to $1.20 down back to 90 cents, all within the same day, representing swings of 10 to 20% within a very small amount of time. So please bear that in mind when you're looking at a stock chart. If there is volatility in the price action on a daily chart, it might be that there was an event surrounding that volatility. Also, if you're looking at a weekly chart, it could provide you a lot of information as to the overall trend and direction of the continuance of that stock price. So if we're looking at a 1-year chart on a weekly candlestick pattern, and the pattern is going up and up and up, it could be an indication that the stock will continue to go upwards. We'll talk more about chart patterns and technical analysis in future videos, but for now I just wanted to introduce you to Google Finance and how you can search for different companies and look at their stock chart so that you can have a better idea of the financial situation of the company. If you have any more questions with regards to stock charts, feel free to comment below on our channel, and don't forget to subscribe because I'm going to make a lot of other videos on topics to help you become a better stock investor. Thanks, and I hope you have a great evening.